Welcome to Northern Unity Page PSW. Princess Suri coming to you live for us to talk as Ghanaians. I come to say certain things about what happened in Ghana recently about this lady insulting people, the foreign minister, etc. and etc. I want to tell Ghanaians today, the lady says something like, who is ISO Speed? And then the country leadership, especially Ghana, for most so in some hunu and some funkwa ewa Ghana. Even though he came out to apologize, I want to use this opportunity to say, if I offend a for, I'm sorry. But one thing that Ghanaians need to do when it comes to your radio stations and TV stations, we need to have a line that will be drawn to each station. If your employee cross that threshold, you have to be fined and pay amount for offensive comments. As a anchor person, a news station, if you have your news TV station in Ghana, whether it's GH1 or whatever this lady was working, if a person will hijack someone's language to insult people and make people to think that this person insulting people with Ashanti language or Akan language is Akan when she's not Akan, the TV station become liable for the offensive comments that were made hijacking someone's language. I come to say, I'm sorry if I use this, and I already said it on my video. This lady was asked, who the fuck is ISO Speed? ISO Speed is bigger than Ghana. ISO Speed is bigger than most of the countries he went and visited. What we don't understand is that what this young man has done for the African continent is beyond and above. For 500 plus years, African continent is being shown throughout the world as poverty, civil wars, military coups, lack of food, lack of housing. And for people to come out there and claim to have NGOs in Ghana or any part of the continent of Africa, they use war-torn zones. When people are refugees are fleeing the war-torn area, they will take those pictures. And during this drought in Ethiopia, Somalia area, when it wasn't raining, they didn't have their crops, everything were destroyed. People went to those areas, take pictures, and this image of Africa has been shown throughout the new world, the Western world, as how Africans live in Africa. To the Black Americans, European Americans, Asians, everywhere you find Black people, the image that was shown to them and continue to show to them till this ISO Speed visit to the continent of Africa is always been children without food, with flies, with nose running flies, pop bellies without clothes on, flies everywhere. And they showed the remote area they go take these pictures to show summer has mud houses. We have no cities. Nobody, whether you name it, CNN, NBC, all the TV stations throughout the world, whether it's French 24 or 27, all those people, none of them ever portrayed Africa to show Africa that we have cities or we have countries in the continent of Africa. Let's ask ourselves, why would European children, where European academical system came from, to be in Africa, whether it's the Francophone or the English people or the Spaniards or the Germans who were in the Southern African area, why would those people that took learning and brought it back to us claim it's theirs? Children that are supposed to know world histories, geography, and everything would say that Africa is a country, not a continent. It's about the image they portrayed to those people. It's about what they are teaching those children in their classroom to look down upon Africans. For 500 years, the image of Africa is always been poverty and conflict. And it continued today till ISO-Speed showed up in the continent. And he took 20 countries to visit. And anyone that don't understand this, I want you to go into social media, TikTok. For instance, you see bloggers in the middle of Madrid. You see bloggers in the middle of London, Oxford Square, asking people, what is the poorest nation in the world? And these European children will turn around and say Africa. And none of the bloggers ever correct them that, yo, Africa is a continent, it's not a country. But because of what Speed did for 20 countries in Africa, now the bloggers are correcting people. Last week, there were a blogger doing the same thing. He was talking about where did they have what and what, I forgot what it was. And they say, Africa, a country. He said nation. And the guy said, no, Africa is not a country, it's a continent. This reality, it still didn't sink into some of them. Did you see the black American crying? It's not their fault. It's not their fault because for 500 years plus, all that they know about the image of Africa is always been poverty. And this thing were projected to make sure that African descendants stays wherever they are, whether it's the Caribbean, Central America, European America, Afro-Europeans, Afro-Brazilians, Afro-Americans, Afro-Canadians, Afro-Asians. They make sure they show them the image that is so unbearable, and to let them know that if you think you had it bad, where we took you guys from, your ancestors don't have food to eat. They don't even have houses to sleep. We have to do charity work and go give them food, aid for Africans to eat, and give them bed for them to sleep, and give them blankets to cover themselves. And this was the image that was shown throughout the world. Why do people look down upon us? It's because of the reality was that the world order. No, without Africa, there's nothing in this world. And the African people that were taken out of Africa and populated everywhere in this world, the image of Africa was shown to these people. If you think you had it bad, then go back to your nations and see how that continent is. You guys should thank the people every day, wherever they took you from and brought you to the new world. You should thank them and be grateful to them because your continent is a shithole. And it wasn't a lie. Even Trump said it. The African countries are shitholes. And this was the image for 500 years plus, were the image that was shown throughout the world, except the continent of Africa. When they come there, you see all these bloggers come into Africa. They will never show Accra. They will never show Addis Ababa. They will never go to Kenya, Nairobi, and show Nairobi. They go to the villages and continue this propaganda about Africa image and keep on projecting that. They will project it and then go around and say they need donations because they're going to rescue Africans that have no places to sleep. They have no drinking water. They live in the forest. Some are sleeping on top of trees. These images continue till this 2025 ending. In January, ISO-Speed went out. December, I think he left December 26. January 26, he was in Africa. 1 month of this young man ancestors telling him, our son, you're going to clean this image within a second. The narrative of Africa, the history of Africa, our story has to be told. And there's nobody that will tell this story. It's going to be the descendant of those 19 people that were taken out of the soil of Ghana, the first slaves to leave African soil to the New World came from Africa. And the Lord and our ancestors say, nobody is going to do it right. To those people who were taking the first nation that the black man and woman left for the New World, descendant will correct this image. For a long time, I've been blogging about the prophecy of Africa standing up again. Anyone that knows this my page, you can go search. They used to have the videos. If I still have these videos, I keep on saying that Africa will get what Africa was. But it will take a descendants of those family members, our family members that were taken out of Africa and sold into captivity. Descendants will correct the image of Africa. Africa will stand up. And nobody believes me. This young man, mother kicked him out of her house for what he was doing. He started young. And the mother was like, no, I don't want you to be doing this. It's dangerous. You're going to hurt yourself, what and what. If you can't stop it, you need to leave my house. To the point, the mother kicked him out and he went and stayed with his dad. You see, if you have a calling in this world, nobody can stand on your way. Iso Spade was chosen by our ancestors, both the continent of Africa and those that were sent into here, knew it would take one of their descendants to change the image of Africa in the whole entire globe. Being negative, it would take their descendant to bring it back to positive. For me to sit here and see a journalist, a news anchor woman from even north, they say she's from Boko in Ghana, to politicize a prophecy, to insult the foreign minister of Ghana, for this young man to become an ambassador of African continent and started in Ghana and be given a passport. His DNA show his mother is from Ghana. The mother ancestors were Ghanaians. For you, this ignorant woman who does not understand what media is, who does not understand social media, is going to sit and politicize the awakening of the African children throughout the world to insult and talk about jollof rice. Who the fuck tell you, this fat, ugly bitch, that, I'm sorry about my language, I take it back. Who the hell told you jollof rice, madam, come from Ghana? Jollof rice is not a Ghanaian thing. Jollof rice come from Senegal. We took it and polished it with Nigerians. But jollof rice were never our invention. And to make things straight for you, Madam Bofrot, were you the one that cooked the jollof rice? You say, oh, and he took our jollof rice. Who the fuck told you it's your jollof rice? To went and jump into it and lay on it. Africans are so stupid. You guys don't know what they call promotion. You guys don't know what they say media, social media. You guys don't know what they call networking. This guy came for the love of jollof rice. He loved it so much. He bathed inside it and was still eating it. You so fucking moron, ignorant woman. I don't know your name. The GH1 TV station lady who said this the nuisance. I'm directing this video at you. You say the Black Star Square, and then he went over there and disrespect. Who the fuck are you? Do you think you own Ghana? You from Boko, right? My dear sister, let's fucking get our ass together. If you want to fight for the right of things in Ghana, straighten Boko issues. We come from the north, and we have so much going on in the north. Let's go fight to straighten it out. Let's call for peace in Boko. You have a TV station that you are sitting, people are seeing you there. If you have a fucking mouth to talk about Ghana issues, talk about Boko issues. You come from Boko. The crisis over there, I'm a northerner. I use my platform to talk about Boko issues. for peace in the north. You sitting there saying, do you know what the guy did? Sacrifice. Do you know why he flipped on the Black Star Square on the top there? Speed will tell you. By the time he flipped, he called upon his ancestors to guide him for him not to fall. To show the image he wants to show the world. This young man, even I was sitting in my house in America, shaking, I pray for him not to fall. Do you know how he was able to make it? Imagine this young man who has everything going on for him, decided to climb all that far place and make a flip, back flip, to promote Ghana. And you say, what GDP did this guy, what impact did the guy have in our GDP? Useless buffoon lady. Do you know, you know GDP? Can you tell me the definition of GDP? Can you tell me the definition of GDP? GH1, this lady deserves to be fired. She needs to be fired. Anyone that will use your station to insult need to be terminated. You cannot hijack Ashanti language. You come from the north. Use your northern language and say you speak English giving the news. Use the news, English that you are using to give the news. You don't hijack someone's language for people to go after insulting them. I did. I'm half Ashanti. But I call Akan out and say, Ghana does not belong to them. It belongs to all of us. And they're going to finish Ghana the way they are behaving. Based on this fucking useless moron lady who does not understand what we, who left Africa 10 decades, 3 decades, what we are going through. Because of this image people are seeing about Africa, the way we're being treated. That's why some of us, when we see this young man promoting Africa, the moment this guy touched the foot into African soil, everything negative of Africa changed overnight for the first night in the African continent. And then you have a fucking audacity who is a riff like you, who does not understand what Africa has been portrayed. You sit in your little corner, the little tiny corner of Africa with 35 million people. The guy followers. You know, this African tour, the guy went. For how many? 1 month. Let me show you what this guy got. For 1 month, your fucking TV station you work for will never get those views. Your whole entire country does not even have population to match what ISO speed people that view ISO speed videos. I want to show you for you to do the breakdown. I mark them down. I want to show you what ISO speed has done for Africa. I hope I can find this. I mark them to show you what this man has done for us. I'm trying to find them. Where did I save them? I want to show you guys. Before someone talk, it's not that we just running our mouth. It's the bottom truth. What this man, young man, has done for us is what I want to show you guys. See, ISO Speed.
ISO Speed's Africa tour is changing how Americans see Africa. Instead of the old stereotypes, people are seeing real culture, real energy, and real joy. From the streets to the fans, Africa looks alive, modern, and full of talent.
Nobody ever sees distance.
Americans are now seeing Africa through a positive lens. Not poverty, but passion. This tour proves Africa isn't what they were told. It's even better. ISO Speed's Africa tour is changing how Americans see Africa. Instead of the old stereotypes, people are seeing...
This is one of them. Let me show you.
100 years of propaganda against Africa all gone. Like that. Because of ISO Speed. He's gone around Africa and showing people what Africa is like.
This is a different person. I want to show you guys all the different things.
Now, of course, this young man has taken Kenya and the world by storm. ISO Speed. And a friend of mine, a very good friend of mine who happens to be a podcaster, asked me a question yesterday. He says, bro, how is this man this influential? He seems to have captured the imagination of the world. Where are we going wrong? And for me, it was very simple. I told him, this young man does not involve himself with negativity, no gossip. He wants to build people. He wants to build nations and systems. You see, the problem with some of you, and I was very candid because he's a good brother of mine.
I want to go to a different one. I want you guys to see.
American YouTube streamer ISO Speed has concluded his Africa tour with a...
I want to show you guys all the stunts.
American YouTube streamer.
I don't want to use this even. Let me go to all of them before I come to this lady. What ISOSpeed has done. Look at the lady. This buffoon sitting there. This is the lady that said what he said, right?
Good afternoon to you.
Look at her standing there.
Today, I shared an opinion.
What opinion do you have? You moron. Okay. Let me tell you. I want to show you what this man, young man, has changed. I want to get the viewers to show you how many views. ISOSpeed videos. God, what people don't know. ISOSpeed. See, he was in this country. The prince and princess.
Giving him a Ghanaian passport, why a favor? So, Ghanaian passport, no passport, Papa, bit me 2 point baby. Now, so, Beji would be no Diabo Kronan Kenya. Charlie, go, yeah, or share back as a den. Okay, yeah, this girl is saying,
No, it's just lunch.
I want to show you.
clean country. You don't know. I will tell you this, bro.
I want to show you guys what this guy has done for Africa. And for a Ghanaian woman, a northern lady, who claimed to be a TV journalist, a newswoman, and don't understand the severity of social media influence. This ISOSpeed African tour alone, overall viewers was 160-something million people follow ISOSpeed visit to Africa. His YouTube and people that watch, people were shocked to see how many people. We're talking about Chinese, Koreans, Japanese, Arabians. You go back to Europe. We're talking about Europeans, English, Germans, Spanish, Italians. You go to Central America, all the Caribbeans, South America, everybody. I was on ISOSpeed. To the Americas, everybody. To Australia, to black people all over the world. I'm now so fucking proud to say the continent they've been destroyed, telling us we have nothing to go back to. Those people don't have food to eat. That's why we are dying in Mediterranean seas, trying to leave Africa. This guy changed all that narrative 1 month. Some of our sub-Saharan African countries, it's not even up to 100 years of independence. For 500 years, we've been struggling to get this recognition. And during the newly independent African countries, the propaganda was to let every black person, a slave descendant who were captured and sent into captivity, for them to stay far from us. They are, no, you don't understand. These people are no human beings. There is a man saying that Africans, our brain is less than a chicken. I'm telling you, that our brain is less than a chicken. That what pisses him out is to see black people in their what? In their to see black people in their shelters in America. That what pains him. Even the Americans that were supposed to come there don't want to come because the Africans are there and they don't want nothing to do with the Africans. Do you know why? That's because our brain, capability of our brain is less than, when they say IQ, we can't even get up to 75%. This is a useless white man, so-called white man, insulting black people, saying all kinds of negative things. I was shocked when I see, when these people... These people crying. Do you know why they are crying? Because all these years, the negative image about Africa. These people are crying because of the lies that were told about Africa. These people are crying because of all these lies that were told to them about how Africa is. They want nothing to do with Africa. They look down upon us, do everything. When you even try to tell them what they are saying is not true. Even our own black people who were sent to this place, they knew well during slavery, captured by force. Even blacks don't want nothing to do with Africa for the longest. Do you know why? Because of the image that were portrayed to them. Everywhere, when I came to America and tell people I never even climbed a tree, nobody believes me. They think we don't even have houses. Nobody ever saw anything good in Africa. You're talking about America, you're talking about Europe, you're talking about Asia. Even in China, there were zoos, a museum showing Africans as monkeys. For a long time, this image continued to take over everything. When they see you, a black African, in any of these places, they see us as subhuman. And the children of Europe, Asia, America, South America think we Africans, if not because of their charity, aid, we can't even have food to eat. For this young man to go out of his way, who has more than 50 million viewers, followers, anywhere he go, this African tour, there at the 4 weeks, I Saw Speed has people viewing him in the continent of Africa. 160 million plus people were watching I Saw Speed. They were in shock. People were shocked to see Africa. I have friends that traveled the world, and they knew well. When you go to them, I went to Central America, the poorest area. They were telling me, why would they go to Africa when we are lack of food and lack of houses? We can't even get water to drink. They look down upon us because they don't know we have the best of everything in this world. When I saw this useless fucking lady insulting the foreign minister and saying, who the fuck is this guy to come and lay on our jollof rice? Who the fuck is him to come and stand on the Black Sky Square and disrespecting us? Who the fuck are you, madam? If you have a mouth to talk as a northerner, talk about northern issues. We're going through crisis in the northern part of Ghana. Our brothers and sisters are killing each other. Our fathers are killing each other in the north. Over 60 years. Go solve it. You from Boko. No wonder why you hijack Akan to speak Akan language. Speak Kusaso or Mamprinshi or Mosi. And then people will bring the fight to you. You don't hijack someone's language and let people to insult them. I'm so sorry if I offend on that. Everybody should forgive me. I have the right to both North and the South. And I can too. Half. So for this lady to go after the foreign minister. And by the way, the foreign minister is my in-law. You deal with a black one, you deal with me. Maybe I didn't see if I see it, I can't answer you. For a woman who is sitting in your third world country and don't know what is going on this universe we call home, and don't know what the new world order is, everything today, it doesn't matter. All these universities we are going to use it for yourself. Soon, jobs as we know it is gone. Today, in America, if you are an accountant, you are a trader. A trade is not a degree anymore. If you are a teacher, it's not a degree anymore. If you are a nurse, it's not a degree. Even engineering is not a degree. It's a trade that you went and learned. This is what we were doing all along. And they say, no, you have to get a formal education to have a 4-year college to show that you have a degree. All the people that took money to go to that school, they're canceling them out now. And you still owe the fees. For you not to know that for an image to clean up, it would take another image to clean the destruction of 100 years almost of Africa credibility. That yes, we have houses. Yes, the diamonds people are wearing, the gold, the platinum, the uranium, the cobalt, everything we use today, including the phone I use, without Africa, it's not possible. Even the ones that invented without the African, it's not going to be possible. They took it all, credited to themselves, and started painting us the ugliest. Everything dark is bad. We are not black people. I'm a Ghanaian American. They keep on. Why do they keep on changing our names? It was Negro, they say no Negro. It was color, they say no. Now they took us to what? African American, Afro-Caribbeans and everything. And now we are black people. We are not black. Whites are not white. Why do we accept that? Because in this world, everything black in the eyes of the Western world is bad. For 500 years, we've been condemned and the continent has been looted and the people, everything with our resources, everything was taken to build their civilizations. We came and built. And when we cried and was able to get independent, they went divide. Let me tell you something that Africans don't know. Non-Africans, before colonialism, we know nothing about tribalism. If you guys don't know, before colonialism and slavery, we know nothing about those things. Tribe is a new word that were invented by the colonial masters. You conquer, find something to divide them, let them fight among themselves while we take everything. Why would the 1884-85 conference in Berlin, why was it important? That's where all these things were invented against Africa. When we cry wolf and they give us the independence, they say, no, let's go back and show. How in the hell would a kid from Europe or America showed up in Africa to tell you that he's coming to civilize us by aid, to give an NGO, and the NGOs are nothing but spies? You see, they say, oh, you guys, I don't understand Africans. You think everybody that is coming to Africa has the best interest of Africa? The answer is no. They come, go into the village, remote villages, take pictures, came to the New World and used it to get donations, millions of dollars. None of the millions shows back to Africa. But they're telling people that's the money they're using to keep us afloat in Africa. And they won't spend any charity money, NGO money. For years, the Africans were the guinea pigs of pharmaceutical companies when it comes to vaccines. They use us for centuries to come out with vaccines. Some of us die, some of us have the markers on us. And if anyone say what I'm saying is wrong or it's not right, they need to come and answer. Was not Africa, were Africa not the dumping ground of their vaccines? Why is it today that we are saying no African in the New World can do skin tests for tuberculosis? Why so? Because they used the tuberculosis vaccine in Africa first. When they realized it couldn't work, they stopped it. But by then, we all have the markers. The only thing they can do is to do x-ray to see that you don't have tuberculosis. The same thing goes to every negative disease that they were trying to find the vaccines. They brought it to Africa, the dumping ground. We were the guinea pigs. And when that was finished, the new era was, if you cannot control them, continue to divide them. Use their own people against themselves. Today, there is no place that is distant, is more west than the Ghana, the country called Ghana. We use our tribes to divide ourselves among ourselves instead of us to be thinking positive. What can we do to get the best from each tribe to come together to build Africa for the continent of African children? We don't think about that. For this buffoon, this buff-throat looking lady standing there, our jollof rice. Who told you that jollof rice come from Ghana? Jollof rice come from Senegal. You are a disgrace and an embarrassment to the whole African continent. This young man deserves a plug in the AU. This young man deserves, each nation in Africa deserves to name a street after IShowSpeed. Do you know why? For 100 years of image damage that has been going on. Last month, this month, IShowSpeed wiped everything away from Africans. Today, European kids can no longer sit in the classroom, or the American kid, or the Chinese, the Japanese kid can no longer sit in the classroom and listen to the lies that have been told to them for 100 years. That alone itself is word for that boy to have each country in the 55 countries, for each country to award IShowSpeed with a passport. I'm glad to see Ghana was the first nation, and we were the first nation where the first 19 slaves came to, where do you know where they came? Jamestown, Virginia, Washington, D.C. And this man is a descendant, direct descendant of Ghanaians. for you, this buffoon, to sit there, open your fucking mouth to say who the fuck Ghana leaders or most sources and so on and some fund. The time Akufo-Addo was in a Jubilee House, that's a state house. Security wise, you don't know whether McNeil was sent to there to videotape that area for them to see what's the easier area to take presidents out. You didn't know. Musicians can be spies. He went in there, Akufo-Addo daughter took him in. They did video, music video, to promote his music video. Compare that to ISOSpeed visit to Ghana. Which one was benefiting Ghanaians? But you guys sat in silent while McNeil came and disrespected the whole continent, including Ghana. And today, someone with his money, millions, took a flight, his own plane, filling it, traveling around Africa. He's not to find anything, just to sow the well, the continent of Africa. Even I believe, even ISOSpeed himself going to Ghana or African continent, didn't have it in mind that he would see what he saw. He himself was shocked because of the narratives. I don't blame anyone. All those people that are crying around, I don't blame any of them. Even me sitting here, my own mother came to America. I swear to God, in the 2000, my mother came from 1999, 2000, 2005, 2006, and she said she didn't want to come here anymore. She's tired. My mother will sit and watch videos. And they will tell my husband, my mother say, what kind of place is this? And my husband will say, Africa. And my mother will tell my husband that this is not Africa. She come from Africa and she never see anybody walking with a stick on them. This was Papua New Guinea. They were showing it as Africans and people believe it. I never live in a bush. I never live in a place I don't have a place to sleep. But they made us to know that that's how we live. We have no food to eat. Anytime you see any image of Africa on TV, they will show children, nose running, they are walking naked, and their stomach is bigger than the whole entire body. That's the image for the longest. That's the image black African American descendants saw. That's the image American kids saw. That's the image the Japanese children saw. That's the image the Chinese children saw. That's the image Europeans children sees. They have no respect for us. Even when they come to the continent, you see how they behave. Some of them, those little that come, there's no way you can change the narrative. You tell someone, yo, Africa is no way you see. They say, please. Even you, the person that is from Africa, when you try to tell people Africa is bigger than what you are seeing, it's a lie. They don't believe us. And someone said, if that's the case, then why are you doing here? And they say they help us to come here to get out of poverty. Let me tell you. I took my best friend to Ghana in 2009. When we were going, she kept on telling me that Ghana probably is the size of Trinidad and Tobago. I'm like, yo, Ghana is bigger than Trinidad and Tobago. She didn't believe me because I didn't blame her. All their image in their schools, they don't teach well history. Africa history does not exist. Civilization does not exist. Why should we even wonder? Today, everything that is biblical in this world happened to come from the African continent. You name it, Jesus was African. Even the Prophet Muhammad, mother was from Ethiopia. They claim, no, it was a slave. Died and the mother died. And the mother became the slave was taken care of. It was a lie. When Muhammad, the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon his name, was fighting, running for his life. Where did he go? Abyssinia. Where is Abyssinia? Today, modern day Ethiopia. Why did he go there? Because that was his motherland. Africa is always the beginning of everything. The black nation, the black people, the black continent. Guess what? Egyptian pharaohs. My father, the Y chromosome, I sitting here can trace my Y chromosome to the Ramses, pharaohs of Egypt. The pharaohs were black people just like you and I. Do you know what they did? They say, no, this thing was too much. Jesus and all that, the prophet and all these things were too big to give to the black people who want to enslave them. Why did they enslave us? Because of who we are. With anything, with a black person included, it will be possible. They took us out of our land by force to build their nations. And today they sit there to talk like we are nobody. And I know from the day I was born, my forefathers are always guiding me. Ancestor spirit guide me to know I can never be less. I was once upon a time we control the whole world and we rule the whole world. African ruled Europe for 700 years. With kindness, no brutality. Let me tell you, when the Egyptian pharaohs, they changed it, went and brought Arabs. They brought like first, Alexander the Great conquered. They keep on coming, conquering. At the end, they went and brought Arabs. The Ottomans come into the North Africa, and today all the Arabs, light-skinned people in Egypt, Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia, and all that. None of them, Libya, majority of them are not Africans. They are the invaders, and those are the Europeans brought in to replace us. If you go to Palestine, Jerusalem in 1925, Jerusalem were black people. They wiped us out. Why did they do that? So that this narrative can be sold. And it continue to work. You guys, if you go to my social media feed, my TikTok, I'm called Mother Africa. Do you know why I said that? Africa is in my every vein. For this young man to stop his money making and say, no, you know what, let me turn this camera. He was in Europe. They treated him like a shit in certain places. But he took his cameras there. People watch and were laughing, of course. We didn't doubt that. That's a black monkey kid thinking that he's something. They treated this guy so bad. Just like what they did to the North African countries. And the guy said, let me go to Africa and see, to show Africa. Even if it is the zebras, the monkeys jumping, the elephant. Let me go safari. Let me show Africa, my continent, where my ancestors came from. He went, and he himself was shocked for what he had seen. And for someone to use 1 month, 4 weeks, and have overall views, 164 million people following this man in the continent of Africa, is to sell every African to say, hallelujah, amen, shalom to this. This man has wiped out 100 years of propaganda holding Africa down. Today, who can go open a TV station or go out to put fundraiser out on social media, whether it's Facebook, TikTok, or Instagram, or all this and that? You need charity to go help Africans that don't have food to eat. Tell me, who can do that after just 1 month of ISO videos? None. And none of the money that were taken for charities for Africa, poor African continent, were ever sent to Africa. And to see a Ghanaian woman who politicized this prophecy outraged me. Mame, if I were to be in Ghana, I'll come to your TV station to have 101 conversation with you. You don't understand what Africans go through. You don't. Anyway, we'll go. I was on a flight, American Airlines, coming from California. My fellow black woman, a black American, treated me like a shit because he saw an African and go like, please, if you're to be anybody, I'll pay attention, but not Africa. I have life 100 times better than the flight attendant. But he seen me as African. He didn't see anything. He seen like, this poor nation, people, country, continent that don't have food to eat, for me to pay attention to her because I have a hair tie and I'm proud. I will always represent Africa wherever I am. I'm proud to be African American. If I could not use that time, I'm proud to be Ghanaian American. I'm not embarrassed about where I was born. My forefathers and mothers ruled civilizations that today, as we sit down, no nation on this planet can claim to replicate what my forefathers and mothers did, whether it's Egypt or Nubia. None, with all these high techs that we have and say we are the modern people with knowledge and everything. None nation on the top of this planet can build a pyramid. None. For you to see this thing, instead of you to say, whoa, let me do research. A wise person, as a TV anchor woman, could have take to the social media to check on this guy. What is this man about? What is this young guy? Why did they allow him to do? And the good thing is, it's not like he was there When this man was going to Ghana, when he was in East Africa, I came out with TikTok. I'm like, dear Lord, I hope this thing will reach people. I hope Ghanaians do justice to this man to promote Ghana. Little did I know, Wood Meyer were already talking to the foreign minister and the government. Wood Meyer is ambassador for Ghana for the image of Africa. He went to China to learn the way they treated this man. He stopped everything after he finished his schooling to promote African continent, to show people what they are talking about Africa is not true. Wood Meyer has been doing it for the longest. He changed 7 people, but Sarah, it takes a lot. But it takes someone from the Western world with a massive followers, and a massive media coverage for them to be able to clean the image of Africa within 1 minute. This TikToker who was in this blogger, ISOSpeed, the backpack that was on behind the what, the cameraman that who was videotaping everything. This ISOSpeed African visit, if he tell you how much money he spent to make it possible, you, this anchor woman, will be shocked. The backpack alone was $10,000. Say for Elon Musk Space Link or whatever they call it, Starlink. That's what he was using everywhere he go to stay live so people can watch. Because our internet is not reliable. And if you were even to go to Africa to do this, they will not show it well. The guy was prepared. He paid and subscribed to the Starlink. Anywhere he goes, he was live. And every country on this planet, continent, the 7 continents, everybody was watching. Aboriginal today, everywhere you find black people, people will hold your hand to shake. They will not run away. Today, they find out Africa is the place to be. Indeed, it's not our gold and diamond, platinum, uranium, cobalt, and whatever we have. It's not the only thing. It's not about natural resources. We have the image. We have the cities. And Africa, upon all the whatever, we were surprised to whatever we went through, colonialism and everything, less than 100 years of independence for the sub-Saharan countries. Look at where they are today. I'm pretty sure those people that continue this propaganda today wish they didn't do it. Today, look at their countries. Everything is backwards. Africa is trying to stand on its feet. Upon all the us against Africa, let me call Osaji for Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. Dr. Kwame Nkrumah say, our us against we, the continent of Africa, the black people. Our enemies are many, both foreign and domestic. With that, you see all the civil unrest. It's not we doing. People always coming when they cannot take, they'll find a way for us to fight each other. For someone to speak the truth, to use his camera lens to speak the truth, to free African continent. For you, a buffoon, a woman who doesn't know your left and right, to call a guy that you will live in this world, go and come back 100 times and can never measure wealth-wise and everything. Knowledge, you can never measure to ISOSpeed. You come into set to insult the foreign minister and the government of John Dramani Mahama. I'm so glad those people were ahead of their time to see the potential in ISOSpeed and award this guy the first passport in Ghana. Then if you're going to insult about our passport, why not go back 2019? Start insulting Akufo-Addo for giving up Ghana passport to the descendants of Ghanaians who were captured and sold into captivity children who are getting Ghanaian citizens. Go after those people too. Don't, it's just too ugly in Ghana. We try to politicize everything. It's not, at times, it's not about politics. It's about survival for the human race. And this young man, may our ancestors guard this man anywhere he finds himself. May they always protect and bless this guy. May our forefathers, Lord of our forefathers and mothers, to guide ISOSpeed. For this one thing ISOSpeed has done for Africa, Mother Africa owes ISOSpeed. Every African need to have ISOSpeed in your heart. To we, the ones that are living in the foreign lands, who left the continent to make New World our home. We owe ISOSPEED dignity and respect for this guy to give us the respect we deserve and never able to get in the New World. ISOSPEED has given us this recognition. For that one thing, may the Lord and our ancestors to guide this man. May the sky not even be the limit for ISOSPEED. Anywhere he went, it was the government. And I was praying that the tourism department would take over ISOSPEED visit to Ghana for him to do well. Little did I know, my people don't disappoint. We came out and I thank the Koforidua area who renamed this guy, gave him Berma Kofi Akofo. Thank you, my uncles, for coming now to the account group for showing this guy the culture. To this guy, this lady in a shea butter place. Thank you, my dear sister. Do you know how many people are coming to Ghana because of this visit? You were talking about GDP, right? This guy is going to blow your country GDP. People are already in Ghana because of ISOSPEED. Even there is a video showing Cristiano Ronaldo is coming to Ghana with ISOSPEED. Everybody is coming to Ghana. The guy is buying a house in Ghana. You so fucking moron. Africans are so delusional. What, they are so fucking jealous. You see a young man having fame than you, and you don't have anything to think about. You're going to condemn him and the leadership of your country because of jealousy. My dear sister, look at my hands. People are not the same. So do our stars. Social media is the thing. Education and everything is gone. You learn for your own sake. The social media networking is the new norm, the new world order. Look to Trump, what he did. And anyone that doesn't know that, you're fucked up in this world. This little space that I'm using to talk to you guys, anywhere I go in this world, I have 54,000 followers. Nothing. It's like a packet change to ISOSPEED followers. But everywhere I went, people know, sees me. I was in Abidjan at the airport. People know who I was. Social media is set. It's the thing. And for ISOSPEED to turn his camera to change the image of Africa to the positive way. My dear son, may the Lord continue to bless and guide you. May the money that you wasted to go to African continent, may the Lord multiply it in your pocket. Never forget Africa. The African Union need to give ISOSPEED a place in that, a plug in African Union. They've been doing it more than 70 years or closer to 70 years. The African Union could not wipe the image of Africa in the world stage. It took a young man, 20 years old, to come to Africa. He turned 21 in Africa to wipe all this negative image. With that, the African Union need to give ISOSPEED a plug in the House of Africa to show the descendant, the grandson, the great-great-grandson who changed the image of Africa in the world stage. ISOSPEED deserve this recognition. I call upon the African Nation Union to make it right. To Malema and all that, you guys make this right for this boy. He changed the narrative of our continent. People don't understand. This young man has done so much where our president, those that care about the continent, came to do and couldn't do. You see, Ibrahim Traore is so proud of this young man. I'm telling you what he has done for us. And let me tell you, in the Western world, it's the people, the youth, that rise to condemn him. And for a century, this youth realized that Africa does not exist. Their families, their state, their leaders are the one taking care of Africa. We have no food. We have nothing. No economy. We don't even have a brain to listen, to learn. At times, someone will ask you whether you speak English. They say, how do you speak English good? If Trump can ask a Liberian president who they have, Black American, who were sent to Liberia, Liberian American president, how do you speak good English? How much more the children? They will never tell the truth. This is the president of America who knows well history, who has all the secrets that he knows. But that's the question he asked. How much more the children? And the youth, the Gen Zs, they are everything in the world now. And if you don't know that, you fucked up. I was in Senegal market and people know me. I came to Ghana. I was in Mokonla and people know who I was. Do you know why? Because of this 53 million people. People can see social media is the new norm. Today, TikTok has helped to clean African image when it comes to food. They used to claim that, oh, we eat every button because we don't have food to eat. TikTok came and they realized, oh, no, it wasn't Africa. And that image was able to wipe out. But lack of food, lack of nutrition, lack of housing and everything, TikTok couldn't clean that image. We still allow people to come in, bloggers. From today onwards, any blogger that will come to your country looking for a permit to blog, tell them, anywhere that you're blogging, first, you need to put a claim to show where you are and what part of Africa you are and what town you are. If it is a city or a village, a royal village, let them know where you're blogging. Every African need to hold people accountable. Speed have done it for us, but it takes we Africans to continue to keep the negative publicity out of the European children's hands. People have been sent to continue this damage. I saw a blogger, a Mediterranean guy, will go into Kenya and then Uganda, went into the pigment and say that he's in Africa and see those people who don't have food to eat. These are the food that they have. I'm giving them, he take $50 to buy food and was claiming that's the food that everybody's going to eat in that city in Africa. And this was a village. It's not even a village. This was a pygmy people, the first people who live in the forest, who doesn't know anything about our new world food. He took them there and was claiming that's all that the host country where he was. It was either Burundi or Uganda. That's what they're going to eat. I didn't see this guy showing any skyline anywhere in Uganda except the village that he went. You Africans need to correct that image. Hold bloggers accountable. If you cannot tell people where you are blogging for, you have no business. You see someone taking a picture of a naked African child, say no, delete it. We need to hold them accountable. They have bad places in Europe, in America, in Asia. If you talk about China, you talk about Japan, they have bad, poor neighborhood, but they will never show that image. They all gang together to make sure Africa plunge out of the world stage by showing bad images of Africa as the continent where we have. We have no food, we have no houses, we have nothing. And today, this young man has eradicated all those nuisance for us. With that, Foreign Minister of Ghana, my in-law, may the Lord bless you. To Woodmeyer, for coming out to tell your country leaders, may the Lord bless you and your wife. Thank you, Ghanaians, those that came to the street to organize yourself, to make this thing to be reality. Everybody is blogging. This guy went everywhere. When the guy said his mother came from Ghana, that he didn't lie. When he went to Ghana, it was like he was home. It didn't look different. There's no way you can see that boy in any corner of Ghana and will not say he's a Ghanaian. For that, bravo to all Ghanaians. To the government, thank you from the bottom of my heart for showing the love to this man. Nigerians were still calling this guy to come back so they can do it right. And the guy said, no, it's one time. You make it right or you fail. I gave you free commercials. I give you free app in your country to show the world where you are. And if you do it wrong, it's your image, it's not him. And Nigeria screwed it up so bad. And I was so glad when the guy get to Ghana, he said, they have light everywhere. He thought that's what West Africa was going to be. He was in Benin, Togo. People were saying negative stuff that, oh, they're showing demonic sense. Who the hell are we to condemn things that we don't know? When a European take a chicken to cleanse themselves, it's spirituality, it's religion. When an African do the same thing, they say it's demonic. And with this mind control set, it's with every African descendant, everywhere we find ourselves. It was a black man in America making a video condemning the African spirituality that were welcoming this boy, that nothing will happen to him as long as he's in the continent of Africa. They were showing this guy our spirituality, you're going to turn around and say that it's demonic. I'm an Israelite. I'm a Jewish person. In the temples in America here, they cleanse each other with chickens every year. And when we do it in Africa, it's barbaric, it's demonic, it's evil. And even we, the black people, also sit and contribute to that. And this narrative and this ugliness, we need to stop. If you don't know, don't be quick to condemn. We all still have a learning to do. We are both lost. It's not those that were taken out of Africa. Even the ones that are left in Africa are even fucking more confused than we, the ones that live in the New World. Because they are lost. Non-African country, especially when you go to religions, can trace their ancestry more than 1 decade. It's gone. 1 century. It's gone. We go to Islam. A man gave his first name to his son. His son gave his own first name to his son. This cycle continues. African identity is being lost. We need to bring it back. How did I become Udana? And I'm proud to be Princess Suri Udana. My forefather descended out of the north, Egypt, Nubia, Mali, to modern day Ghana. He built the kingdom of Wala, the Wa town. He was a warlord with his soldiers. We were the rulers of Wa everything. We fall out of it. And are the custodians of everything. We are the land indigenous people over there. People look at us like, oh, those people, they are like, those that we settle, whatever, the Tara, the Mairi call themselves pure Wala, and we are not. I look at them and say, how can you call yourself a pure Wala when my forefather settled you? For a long time, we ourselves know nothing about our forefather. We know anything about our legacy. Nothing. Till like, do you know why I did a DNA test? It was the unbearable treatment of my New World experience. And to see people, black people, that you walk somewhere and they look like you. And the small history I know about, at the end of slavery, the elite of Africans were captured and sold. The last people were taking boat and were proud to say they still can go to West Africa and kidnap people and bring them and sell. And they did even in South Carolina. They sold people over there. I have family members everywhere. And we have this history about some of our family members that went to farm and came back and everybody was gone. Either they were gone in the farm, even my father's side, the same history. I followed this and I say, no. Let me do my DNA and change my attitude towards my fellow black people everywhere I may come across them. Africans ran away from slavery, and I didn't want to run away from it. I wanted to see, is it true that Africans, some Africans don't believe it. They believe that, no, it's not true that they took massive people. I thought it was 48 million. They say about 68 million Africans, or more than that, were taken out of Africa. They were never counted. We were not considered as a human being. We were cargo, property. Of the 60 million Africans, 12 million Africans survive. In the oceans, so many perish. I decided to do my DNA. When I did, for 2 solid years, I cry every day to sleep. For 2 years, I cry. I started looking to Africa in a different aspect to say, imagine that many people that were taken out of. If I, one person sitting here, can find my lost family members in the New World, you name Americas, England, the Jamaicans, Central America, South America, all these areas, I have so many family members, and we were the elite. How much more those that were not elite? My time was the end of slavery, that they were stolen by force, and nobody could find them. How much more those that were no elite? And this DNA changed my way of seeing this world. And from that to DNA, I never seen any black person anywhere and think about you as someone stranger. I look at you as my long lost cousin, nephew, or niece. I never see a black man and woman anywhere and look at you different. And when you wrong me at times, I get angry. Later on, I say, dear, forgive me for getting angry at this person. It's ignorance. We don't know. We are the same family. And especially the slavery affected West Africa so much. And the area that were invaded strongly was the northern part of Ghana. Villages. There is a place called Tangier Wall in Bolu. These villages became so sick on people stealing their people, capturing them by force. People were coming from the coastal with the invaders to steal people to go sell. To people that come to attack Africans that we sold our people to white men. It's not true. Everywhere has a bad person. People benefited. Those that were in the coastal came into the interior, took people by force. Whether they were in the villages or their farms, they were captured by force. I have a legacy. My father's side, mother, were born in Bole, Savannah region. Why did they get to Bole? That during the invasion, it's seasonal time. After the rain season stopped, the people start coming. And then farm, then they have food, everything. They will use their own food to feed their military and steal their people. They will run. My family, my father's side, ran into Ivory Coast, modern day Ivory Coast, Bona area. When the people were gone later on, when things settled down, they decided to come back after the abolishment of slavery. They didn't leave. Some remained in Bona, Ivory Coast, the northern part. And some of them came out to Bole and settled in Bole. My grandmother, fraternal grandmother, was born in Bole. And this is a legacy of slavery. They ran out of Upper West and went into Bole area so that they won't be captured. And with that, is to tell African story. Imagine if all these 50 million people or 60 million Africans, and they didn't want the old, nor the sick. They wanted the strongest, the knowledge, the young were taken. It took Africa centuries to rebuild. 500 years of slavery were left with the old and then the sick to repopulate Africa, especially West Africa. Look at the tragedy. We are survivors. We Africans, we are survivors and still continue to survive. Imagine if these 60 million Africans didn't leave the continent of Africa. What will Africa be like today? I want everybody to reflect on that. I want you to think, go to your bed and think, if 60 million, even if it is 48 million people 500 years ago were not taken out of Africa, what would our continent look like today? I want to tell you, never let anyone tell you who you are. We West Africans are the Israelites. We West Africans are the pharaohs. We West Africans are the beginning of everything. If you go back to slavery, they wasn't capturing just people. They know who they wanted. And they went back to the Israelite belt to capture those. Those were the chosen ones. And if you stole them to build any civilization, as long as the Israelite is there, whether it's by force or whatever you take them, as long as they are the chosen ones, anything they put their mind in, God will bless it. And that's why we became the victims of the slavery. That's why we're captured and sent away. In this world that we live, the most kind person in this world happened to be the black man and woman. We are easily to forgive and easily to forget. Why are we so? It's because we are the chosen ones. Everybody came out of us. You say anything and say, after all, these are our people. They may not be the same color as us, but they are our descendants. But let's continue this African legacy that is being image that have been claimed for us by this young son of descendant of Africa. Let's keep this image. Let's do it right. I keep on saying the prophecy of Africa has been spoken. And that's why some of us are blogging. It's not our doing. We are part of these prophecies to set it right. It's not my doing coming to Americas. As a kid, 5 years old, if I can tell, I was going to live in a new world. Did I have to convince anyone again that it wasn't my doing? It was divine intervention. The prophecy of Africa is going to see the daylight. And you say, once upon a time, Martin Luther King ever said that the promised land, we shall get there. No matter what, we'll get there one day. And this promised land is coming. You need to just take a look at the world order today. What is happening in this world? For we, the blacks, to stand right, to make it right. One day, our descendants will come back to that continent. The biggest continent in the world. The mothership of the 7 continents. 6 continents include Africa, 7. Africa is the mothership. Each continent will sit in Africa and still have space. We have vast land. When I see people say, God has cursed us, how can God curse us and give us the best part of this continent? Let's ask ourselves. The curse is nothing but self-inflicted wound. Africans are surviving and we still survive. And the European children, the Asian children, the Americans children, not America, the South American children will tell our story. They will tell our story the right way because ISOSpeed just started. The Lord is great and Lord is wonderful. Let's keep this image clean. In everywhere you find yourself, if anyone were to take a bad image, tell them no. We have bad images everywhere, but you don't see them showing it in the world. When I first came to America in the early 90s, as a teenager, I landed in Chicago. The first movie I saw about Chicago was The Fugitive. Everything was glass, neat, manicure, yard, everything. Perfect. No soil, no dirt anywhere. And I landed in Chicago O'Hare Airport as a teenager coming to America in my 20s. I came out of the airport and I was disappointed right away. I asked, I thought America don't have debt. They don't have any debt in here. Dirty cars or anything. Little did I know, there were cars even junk than cars that were driving in Ghana. I was so disappointed. If I had then a round trip ticket, I could have come to Ghana within 3 months. I say, dear Lord, forgive me for my ignorance to think that America has no debt. America has no dirty car. America has no dirty areas in the city. And my face tastes in America. I was shocked. I was so shocked. Just like how these people are shocked throughout the world in this social media about ISOSpeed visit to Ghana. That's how I was shocked. Everywhere has bad area. No Africa only. Even in America, in Britain, in Germany, in Spain, in Italy, in China, in Japan, in India, you name it. Middle East, even Saudi had a bad area. Even Dubai had bad areas. They don't show those. The media in Dubai, when you go to Dubai, even using WhatsApp is difficult because they don't want anyone to show the images that they don't want to show the world. But in Africa, we are the first children of God. Everything is laid back. It's okay. It's our people. We are family. Let them do whatever they want to do. For 100 years, for 500 years, Africa image, his people, his resources, his image, everything was people were out there to destroy us so that they can keep us at bay, so that they can keep on using excuses in their people's eyes to justify what they're going to do to us. Whether it's about what happened in Venezuela, going there to pick capture a president. They've been doing it in Africa. Aside for Dr. Kwame Nkrumah were kicked out of Ghana by the Western world with the help of the Ghanaians, the few who were sell out. It's continuing to happen in Africa everywhere you go. Everywhere. And the promised land that we live and don't understand what we have. And the prophecy that has been told. My dear fellow Africans, if we don't keep the prophecy, the second coming of slavery, people will occupy Africa. The first one they left, this one, no, they will not leave. They are taking over Africa for us to be slaves in our own cities. What I would tell every country in African continent, allow every color to come in, give them green card to live, citizenship. But the African constitution, each nation in the continent of Africa need to have a constitution simple that a 4-year kid or 5-year kid that goes to school can read to understand the constitution. It's only the native of Africa, not those that are born there. The native of Africans are allowed to be vice president, president, and speakers of parliament. We need to make this right. We need to make this right. Africa is going to be the second coming in slavery. We're going to be enslaving our own nations if we don't do it right. You're allowed. I'm a Ghanaian, born and raised. I came to America at the age of 20. I'm a citizen here. I can never be a president. Nor can I be a vice president. But if I want to be a congressman and if they vote on me, I can do it. If I want to be appointed as an ambassador, America can appoint me. So the same thing applies to each nation in the continent of Africa. Let's do it right. Let's do it right. America was created. Africa was not created. It's a continent that has been there. Everybody came out of it. So we cannot say only the natural borns. It's the natives who can be president, vice president, and speaker of the parliaments. Because if the president and vice president die, the speaker become the president. With this, let's do it right. Let the constitution of each nation on the continent to be simple as clear. Anyone that can read can understand the constitution. Don't complicate it. You have to be a native of African to rule. Even my son, who is part of me, half, can never rule Africa. His loyalty may lay with his father. And I don't want anyone who will take all. But if you come to help and build, to take some, for us to be okay and be brothers and sisters, I have no problem with that. Because the reason why I'm saying this, the tragedy that affected South Africa with the apartheid, if we don't do it right, Africa will be enslaved. Africans will be enslaved in our own nations, just like what happened to South Africa. It's not about hating anyone, any individual, any color, or any race. It's about to make it right for all the races to come into the continent and make a living and live comfortable, raise children, and do whatever they want, and at the same time, no meddle with the 3 elite that keep Africa going. No native can ever be a president or a vice president or a speaker of a parliament. We need to put it in a constitution. We need to do it for the survival of the African child. I come today because of this. Thank you to the president of Ghana. Thank you for the people of Ghana. Thank you to the foreign minister of Ghana. Thank you, Wood Meyer. Thank you, ISOSpeed. To all the people that made it possible for you to go to Africa and clean our image. Thank you. May the Lord of our forefathers and mothers, continue to bless and guide you. Thank you. Help me share this video. I'm doing it for all of us. Thank you.